the birther movement has taken full swing. I'm in the back trying to say, look, you guys, I've been saying this was going to happen beforehand. You're being used. This is the final stage of World War III and the psychological warfare to destroy the Constitution. Because the whole point of the birther movement is to open a constitutional convention under the auspices of saving our necessary president, who says he's from Krypton and came here to save the world, but that's beyond the point, that they're going to open this constitutional convention, but what it does is actually opens the entire Constitution for revision. But now, here again, the Constitution, of course, was a Masonic document that was signed under some strange circumstances as well. If you read into Manly P. Hall's Secret Destiny of America. So what you realize is that this was the good spell, you know, the one that called all the good people to America to build it as it was. And now you can watch as the culture creators have developed a satanic spell. So now all of our children are evil brats with, you know, satanic desires. This has all been manipulated and programmed throughout the years. And so now America is supposed to be the epitome of Satan, and this is for one giant global psychological warfare, so that when the global elite then do create their new world order, they can always refer back to the evils of America and say, look what happens when you don't have us controlling you. This is what happens to people with liberty and freedom. So we have been brought up as this shining example to then be torn down. And the idea of this birther movement is one that people should not be using and not be following. This is something I predicted 10 years ago.
So do you often find that the lodges are located next to Capitol buildings?
Oh, absolutely, yes, in churches. And you'll always find that they have subterranean passages. But yes, absolutely, every capital you'll find a lodge.
I'd heard that about the one in Washington, D.C., but I didn't realize they were located in all the capitals like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Supreme Mother Council of the World, the Temple of the 33rd, I've been there. That place is creepy. The lady that was showing me around even said it was haunted. I was like, I'm not surprised. They got the ashes of Albert Pike in the walls there, and all of Manly P. Hall's works and many other research. But that's exactly 13 blocks from the Capitol, is the Supreme Mother Council of the Freemasonry. They also have the flag there that Buzz Aldrin brought back from the moon with the Supreme Council seal. So you got to realize that all of our astronauts have been Freemasons as well. There's only been 2 times that I noted that there were not uninitiated, when there were uninitiated that went into space. Now that is someone who has not gone through the ritual, and this was the Challenger and the Columbia. Both had uninitiated personnel on board.
Do you think that was planned that way?
I don't know if it was ritual. I sometimes do think that was a ritual sacrifice, but that's kind of bizarre to take out your own astronauts unless there was some. But on other levels, I wonder if the uninitiated can go into space, because you realize that these men, that's where the CIA comes from, that's where NASA and the Nazis all come from, these occult orders, and you have to be initiated. And so sometimes I think that there might be some sort of balance between the extraterrestrials and the secret societies and mystery schools. But this is all, you know, speculation, because it's all very strange. But once you start digging into this story deeper and deeper, then these are the places you're taken. You got to follow where it leads, and it constantly pans out as well. So, you know, the fact that I've been able to make these predictions and have been able to explain and define all the corporate logos shows me that I'm on the right track. And that, as crazy as it sounds, that our president might be the clone of an ancient pharaoh, or the entire first family for that fact, as strange as it sounds, starts to make perfect sense when you understand these guys.
Freeman, why are the wars done at a ritualistic level rather than just out and out go at it with each other or something?
Well, we believe these are sacrifices to their gods, or demons, as it were. When you are put into warfare, of course, you're covered in ritual garb with your pentagrams and, you know, all of the different symbols that you would wear, you know, even the... But then on top of that, the streets and the city plans are set up as magical sigils, again, talismans or symbols. So many of the street plans that have been designed are like Washington, D.C. That takes a lot of effort to put that type of esoteric architecture up into play. So, yes, it does. When you get down to the base roots of this, it all does seem to be feeding some sort of lower fourth density demonic force that requires blood ritual sacrifice.
But obviously they wouldn't think it's demonic. They or they wouldn't think that it was. They must think it's an honor.
Yeah, there's the pyramid scheme, and so there are levels of understanding all about, down the spectrum. So when we get to that level, but, consider that shock and awe, as I was describing before, started on Walpurgis night and ended on, or did I have that backwards? It started on the vernal equinox and ended on Walpurgis night. And this is the very time that the occultists say that the dimension veil is thin. And they made this mass sacrifice at those specific time for the shock and awe campaign. So we do find where we very much find that this is some sort of sacrifice as opposed to warfare.
Now, tell me if I've picked up on this correctly or not, but I mean, there seems to be a blending between the Christian and the Muslim with this particular president, and where do the Muslims come in on this?
That has been such a curious question, and I've really been looking into that. The ideas that the Muslims have about their jinn or genies or demons, and the concepts of their Dajjal or Antichrist, they are basically the opposition. You see, they always create bipolarities. It's one thing you'll know, that they always create two opposing forces. So there's Russia, America, always two opposing forces. That's why Barack Hussein Obama, Hussein's in charge of Islam and Barack's in charge of Israel. I don't know if that's coincidence or not, but they are always fomenting these two sides like this. Well, on top of all of this other stuff that I've said, what I have come to recognize is that the world is miraculous, and that we have given over our power to this elite by being victims, by believing they do this to us, or believing that we are under the power, or that we have to ask their permission to be human. And it is the moment when we realize that we are divine, and that there is a divine guidance leading us forward into a beautiful future, that we will then find that future. But as long as we continue to believe the deceptions of this 666 nation and international nation, then we are going to continue to fall through the trap, and things are going to be miserable. It's all up to us to recognize the miraculous, synchronistic, beautiful coincidences that will come in our lives, and to follow that and understand our own true power.